Hello folks, Isaac Weiss here. Another productive week of Google Summer of Code with my MuseScore project. Here you can see some of the commits I made this week. Some pretty involved stuff in here, like don't remove grouping on delete measure repeat from measures. Okay, this is a bit complicated. I'll show you what that is a little later on. It works pretty well, pretty smoothly. But most of the stuff that I did this week has to do with the measures that may be involved with a measure repeat group. So without further ado, let's get into it. This just happens to be the place where the thread always hangs when it quits. Nothing to do with my project. And ignore the 3.5 here on the splash screen. That's not up to date, but this is indeed a 4.0 development build. Okay, so let's start with a simple example. A lot of this stuff I followed design concepts borrowed from tuplets. So let's say we had a triplet there. There are some things that you are not allowed to do with this triplet. I'm redisplaying the palettes because they don't show the first time. Not my fault. But anyway, for instance, you can't try putting a new time signature there because then the tuplet would cross the bar line. So it's going to tell you, tuplet can't cross bar lines. Okay. You're being prevented from creating an untenable situation in your score, basically. Similarly, you can't remove time from the duration of the tuplet. Ordinarily, you can do time-wise delete to shorten the duration of a measure. This is a 4-beat measure, and now it's a 3-beat measure. But you can't remove time from inside a tuplet. Try that, you got this error message. Actually, I refactored this a little bit this week too. I recognize this. Nor can you split a measure. You can try to split the measure before that selected rest in the middle. Nope, can't split the measure in the middle of a tuplet. You can't even copy and paste a partial tuplet. You try that. Please select the complete tuplet tremolo or measure repeat group. You'll see what that's about, and retry the command. Select the whole thing, and it works just fine. So let's see how this all applies to measure repeats now. Let's take a 4-measure repeat. Of course, you've got the grouping elements here. Let's try to copy just part of the measure repeat group. You get that exact same error message. Select all 4 measures, of course, and it works just fine. Let's try splitting, let's try inserting a measure into the middle of these 4 measures. We don't do 5-measure repeats, so I'm going to press Shift-I, and it tells you can't split the measure repeat by inserting that extra measure into it. Let's try adding a bar line, a repeat bar line. Say let's stick it right in the middle on the 3rd measure. Again, the same error. You can't split the measure repeat by putting that bar line there. The same thing works via the inspector. This is the new inspector, of course, but we try to change that bar line style. I've selected this bar line here. We try to change it to a repeat sign. Exact same error. And there's just a whole bunch of other similar types of things having to do with when you initially add the symbol as well, it will clear out any existing bar lines in the way. Of course, it won't do them at the ends. So this bar line and this bar line aren't going to be deleted, but this one will. If I put a 4-measure repeat in there, of course you get a warning. This is a little inconsistent, the way I've implemented it. You get warnings for some things, but others it just does it automatically. Bar line is cleared out, not going to do that. And oh yeah, also stuff with preventing overlapping measure repeats. So if I tried to add another 4-measure repeat right here, the 4th measure would overlap. So instead what this is going to do is it's going to delete that one. drop that there, and the other one gets deleted. I mentioned the thing with multiple staves. Let's just add another staff so it's a full piano score now. So if we have measure repeats in different staffs, so these two measures have to be grouped. These four measures have to be grouped right now. If I remove this four measure repeat, it will ungroup the measures that no longer need to be grouped, but it will maintain the grouping for this two measure repeat in the other staff. So I delete that, and as you can see, this one stays behind. That's the thing I showed you in the commit messages at the beginning. Copying and pasting. I implemented that. That was not implemented previously. Let's see, I copy. Well, of course, I can't copy only one measure, but if I copy both measures, if I stick them over here, oh, that must have that has to do with the tuplet, I assume. Okay. Delete the tuplet, and apparently, I'm establishing a trend that when I record a video, I discover a bug I've never seen before. Nope, this is not a bug. I'm sorry. Because I edited the length of this measure, a 4-beat measure and a 3-beat measure, obviously not being the same duration, I have a check to prevent that. If I have two measures that are the same duration, then copy, paste. Okay, there still is a bug. I'll figure this one out. Let me just go take a quick look back at the commit messages and see if there's anything else interesting. Oh yeah, I added a debugger. This is obviously only available for the developers in the debug builds. Will not be in the released version, but it's just down here. It tells you the subtype, 1, 2, or 4, and the button will take you to the first measure of the associated group. So, yeah, I think that's all for now. Yep, looks good. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.